Hello everyone, you're welcome once again to another English language class. Today we'll be looking at present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. In our earlier lesson, we looked at tenses in English language, and we said that tenses are those verbs. In English, they are verbs that help to show when actions happen or when events take place, whether it's in the past, in the present, or in the future. That's what tenses do. So in this lesson, we are looking at present perfect tense. Remember, we mentioned three basic tenses in our previous lesson. We said we have present tense, past tense, and future tense. So in today's lesson, we'll be looking at a sub-part of present tense, a smaller unit of present tense, and it is present perfect tense. So what does present perfect tense mean? It refers to the action that happened in the past or an action that started in the past, but it has a bearing on the present. It is important or relevant in the now. I'll say that again. The present perfect tense is used to describe an action or an event that happened in the past or that started in the past and is important as at the moment. It is important now, or it has bearing or link or connection with the present. Now, usually when you are representing present perfect tense, you use have or has. These are the auxiliary verbs that are used in representing present perfect tense, have or has. You use have when it is plural, or when you are referring to a first or second person, and you use has when it is singular. Okay, so if the subject is singular, you use has. If it's plural or first or second person, you use have. We're going to look at some examples. Okay, don't feel intimidated or overwhelmed. We're going to break it down and you will see how it works. Okay, so that is how generally you use you express present perfect tense. And then when you use have or has, you always add the past participle of the verb. Whatever verb you are using after you have used has, you make sure the verb is in the past participle form. Okay, so we're going to look at some examples to see how present perfect tense is used. So we're going to look at some examples of the present perfect tense in sentences, how they're used in sentences. So the first set of examples we're going to look at are those that are in the affirmative. Okay, affirmative means in the positive. They are not the negative like no, don't, and all of that. Okay, so some examples here are: I have visited Japan. Now you remember we said we usually use has and have to represent our present perfect tense, and it's always followed by the past participle form of the verb. So here the past participle form of visit is visited. So I have visited Japan. The next example is she has eaten. Now has is used, and what follows is the past participle of it. You can't say she has eat or she has ate. It's very wrong. Even though ate is the past tense form, you can't use past tense form. You use past participle form when you use has or have. Okay? The third one here is they have just arrived. They have just arrived. Again, we see have here, and then arrived is the past participle form of arrive. And the last example here is the mirror has broken. The mirror has broken. Again, here we see has, and is followed by the past participle of break. Broken is the past participle of break. So these are some examples of present perfect tense in the affirmative form. So the next set of examples we're going to look at are examples of present perfect tense in the negative. Okay? So the next set of examples we have here are those in the negative. Okay? Those in the negative. And we're just going to like flip the first 4 sentences that we looked at as examples. So the first one here says, I have not traveled to Japan. I have not traveled. Remember, the first one says, I have traveled to Japan. This one says, I have not traveled to Japan. It's just the negative of it. What we are stressing here is just the not. Okay? Otherwise, they're basically the same thing. But just to let you know that whether you use it in the affirmative or in the negative, the have still follows and the past participle of the verb is still what you use. So the second example says, she has not eaten. She hasn't eaten. I haven't traveled to Japan. The third one, they have not arrived. They haven't arrived. And the last one says, the mirror has not broken. The mirror hasn't broken. Okay, just in introducing the negative side of the use of present perfect tense. So we've looked at the affirmative, which are the positive ones. We have looked at this, which are the negative ones. So the last set that we're going to look at are the question ones or the interrogative ones. So the first example we have here for the interrogative form of present perfect tense is, have you traveled to Japan? This is a question form, but you will still notice that they have features, and then the past participle of travel is also still there. So any form you use, whether it's the affirmative, the negative, or this question or interrogative one, you will find out that there will always be have or has, followed by the past participle form of the verb. So here you have you traveled to Japan? Has she eaten? You see has, you see eaten. Has she eaten? Have they arrived? You can't say has she ate or has she eat. No, it's wrong. Have they arrived? Is the mirror broken? So in all of this, you find out that in present perfect tense, the verbs always feature in the past participle form. Okay? You use have, you use has, followed by past participle forms of the verb. Those are the major rules you need to be aware of. Okay, one, the use of have and has. And you use have when you're talking about yourself or talking about somebody you are referring to, or when it's more than one person or the things, they are plural. In the plural form, you use have. But has is used to refer to something that is singular, alone. So you see, for instance, the she here is a single person. And that's why we use has. Mirror is one thing. So, sorry. This is supposed to be has the mirror broken? Has the mirror broken? So because the mirror is also one, so what we have here is has as well. But they is plural, is more than one, so you use have. And you here is the person that is being referred to. You can't say has you traveled. Okay, it doesn't even sound right. Has I traveled? No. So if it's I or you, it always goes with have. And then when it is more than one, you also use have. But otherwise, singular, it is has. Okay, so here is where we come to the end of the lesson for today. I hope you have learned something. And I hope to see you again next week. Until then, stay safe and stay blessed.